Hello, my name is Sonia and welcome to another Miscellaneous Monday video where we talk about anything except crochet. So today we are going to learn how to do a French braid. In another lifetime I used to be a hairstylist and braiding was one of my favorite things to do. So I thought I would share with you how I like to French braid. So before you can start French braiding you need to know how to do a regular braid. So I'm going to show you real quick on how to do a regular braid. So I just have a little ponytail right up here, and you're going to divide that into 3 pieces and try to make them as even as possible. Now there's different ways of braiding. You can go over or under. For French braiding you need to go over. So I'm going to start at my right and I'm just going to cross this piece over the middle. And then I'm going to take my left and cross that piece over the middle. Take my right, cross that piece over the middle, take my left, cross that piece over the middle. And you just keep going. So you take the one on the right, cross it in the middle, take the one on the left, cross it in the middle. One on the right, cross it in the middle, one on the left, cross it in the middle. And you just keep doing that until you get to the end of the length of the hair or however long you want your braid. And that is how you do a basic braid. So now, once you've learned how to do a basic braid, you're ready to start French braiding. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to do a really nice, tight French braid. You can certainly do a looser one, but I feel like if you know how to do a tight one, then you'll be able to do whatever type of French braid you want, loose, tight, in between. So we're going to get started. So I'm starting right at the top of the head, in the middle. And I want a little bit of a smaller section. And we're going to divide that up into 3 pieces as evenly as you can. And we're going to start out by doing a regular, like we're doing a regular braid. So I'm crossing that over my right section into the middle, crossing my left into the middle, just to get it started, and keeping it close to the top of the head there. So now we're ready to start the actual French braiding. So I'm going to take my right piece here, cross that over into the middle. Then I'm going to take a small section of hair here. We're going to feed that into the one we just crossed in the middle. Just like that. And we've started our first strand. We're going to do the same thing with the left. Cross that into the middle. And then just feed a small section of hair right into that middle piece, joining it with that left strand. And as you can see, I'm just smoothing it with my fingers so it has a nice neat look when it's done. So, and keeping it close to the top of the head. Now we're going to take the right strand again, cross that over, and then take a small section of hair and feed that in. Now some people might French braid a little bit differently, where they take a section of hair and join it automatically together, like that, and then, but I feel like you have a little bit more control when you do it this way, and you can get a much nicer and tighter braid. Also, if somebody that you're braiding has a lot of layers, this way gives you a little bit more control instead of having all these short little pieces flying all over the place. So I just fed that piece of hair into the left. We're going to the right, crossing that over, getting our section of hair, and just feeding that in. And you keep going. Now as you go down the head, the head's going to get, you're going to have a wider section. So I'll show you how to tackle that so you can maintain your nice and neat braid. And I'm doing my left section. So now the head is starting to get a little bit wider. So when we do the right section again, I'll show you a little trick. So as you can see, it's getting a little bit wider. So what you can do is cut that piece in half, feed that in, and then you get the other piece to finish off your section, and then you maintain a nice and neat section right there. And I'm pulling on this so this part gets nice and tight, and we'll do the same with the left. Short little section, and then to complete the rest of the section, or splitting it in half. And that technique works really, really well if somebody has a lot of layers in their hair, but yet they want to have a French braid. This way you can still do it. So we're gonna do that again, split that section in half. And I feel like it's a little bit less intimidating when you see all of this hair and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, to braid all that, it seems a little overwhelming. But when you divide it up into sections and do it piece by piece, then it's, you know, becomes a little less intimidating. And this way you can, you know, smooth the pieces. And we're going to smooth that out. And you can also pull on that a little bit to get that nice and tight. And we'll do the right side, just cutting that section in half. So this nice tight French braid would be good for, you know, if you have a child in sports, dance. You know that their hair isn't going to be bothering them. It's nice and secure. Now they might complain because you're, you know, doing it a little bit tightly, but then they'll be happy that their hair is in a nice tight braid. It's not going anywhere. As you can see, I'm just smoothing that with my fingers. And even this piece here, you can smooth it out. You know, if there's sometimes when you're doing a braid and someone does have layers, you might have some little pieces under here, then you can just pull on them and they're gonna stay tucked into that braid. So we're getting further down the head, and I'm just doing section by section. Now you can even divide it up, like this is getting pretty wide now. So if you want to divide it up into thirds, you can do that too. So here's piece number one, smooth that out, and it's all within the same, if I can turn her here. So all within the same section. So that's piece number one, piece number two, can smooth that out, and then the final piece, number three. And as you can see, it's all within that same section. You just divided it up into three. So it makes it a little bit easier to handle instead of just trying to scoop up all that hair at one time. Especially if somebody has really thick hair, I find that technique to just be a little bit easier to handle. And see, I can't talk. So we have a couple little short pieces. I think my girls got a hold of this mannequin and did some random cuts in the hair. So we've got some funky layers and pieces of hair. So I'm just kind of smoothing them in, tucking them underneath so that they get all nice and tucked into that braid. So I'm dividing this into thirds and just smoothing with my fingers. And so you can see all that hair is getting fed into that braid. And you just keep on going till you get to the nape of the neck. And if you feel like you need to even divide it up into fourths, where you would take 4 sections out of this one, you know, you can certainly do that as well. See, like here's a little short piece right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of sticking out. You can just yank on that and just kind of tuck it under, and then it gets hidden and you never even know it was there. And I'm just pulling on that, smoothing that out as we're working our way down the head. And at first, when you first do it, you might feel like you're all thumbs or you don't have enough hands to hold all the hair, and that's, you know, completely normal. Practice makes perfect. When I was learning how to braid, I actually used to practice on Barbie dolls because my sister had beautiful long hair and she would get annoyed with me and wouldn't want to be my model and let me practice on her hair because she complained. So I used Barbie dolls a lot. And then then when she started cheerleading and needed her hair French braided, then all of a sudden she'd let me braid her hair. So I got a lot of practice. So we're getting farther down the head here. And I'm keeping the braid up against the head, nice and secure. Because we have some shorter pieces down here. I'm not sure. Her haircut is a bit of a hot mess here. Somebody was having some fun with scissors. Okay, so I'm almost to the bottom here. And I'm just feeding in, so I don't have any more hair to feed in on that right side. So I'm just going to feed in this little piece that's left on the left side. Now we've secured all of our hair, and I'm just going to continue braiding. Oops, I got a piece that's not where it's supposed to be. Get in there. So now we're going to braid. Now if you're braiding someone's hair that's really long, sometimes these pieces of hair can get a little bit tangly, a little bit messy. So what I like to do is I'll just, you know, give it a little bit of a comb. That's why it's nice to have a brush on hand, so that your braid looks really nice from start to finish. Now we have some short little guys, so I'm trying to braid this fairly tightly. See that one sticking out there. So you braid as far as you can go, and then you take your elastic and secure it. And you can see that little layer. If someone has a lot of layers, you know, you might need to secure it here, or you could, you know, tuck her under to make it look nicer. Alright, so now we have braided her hair. Now a nice little trick you can do if you do have some little pieces that are kind of sticking up, this is where your comb can come in handy. You can just gently comb up. And if you have a little hairspray that you want to put in, you can just add a little bit of hairspray. And then you can do the other side. And if you have some little funky pieces, you can tuck them in if you want to. But that's how you do a basic French braid. So I hope these tips helped you out and hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching.